Now, what am I doing next? Well, I had a couple of ideas. Good at arts and things and building and all that. All helps when it comes together. Of what to do with these speakers, leftovers. Two of them I can go like that with the tweeter. Two speakers, and they don't won't have they're not bassy. You've got average bass, middle bass can be a bit of both. Um, no bass at all because it had a massive bass speaker with it. Did a bit of both, as it doesn't have bass speakers where this come out. It's just a speaker. Um, Stereo, so it does a bit of bass itself. Right? And the tweeter, which is completely no bass, a little bit of bass, when you turn up louder as it vibrates. And tweeters. Right? Now to stop my vibration more, if you like things going like that, right? You keep a hollow room so it echoes it. Right? But you get an echo feeling kind of thing. Definitely if you turn up loud or you want it clear and hear it good and stuff like that, you can get an echo. Right? But it's all right on a couple little speakers to make them sound better and stuff. But what I've done, and in this speaker here, it had one strip of insulation to help that echo. So it's not too echo, right? But it wanted the echo. So they put one strip at the back like that, sort of sat it in the speaker with the subwoofer. Right? And so what I did is I've had some extra insulation. And so I decided to pretty much not insulate the whole wall, but patches. So there's little corners, little bits, little sections of hardened, and that won't matter. That'll help bring up the sound a little bit better so it bounces off. A bit the bounce off. It's bouncing it. It works, still gets, it doesn't pump out so much air pump where if you walk past when it's loud, it blows your head off, an eardrum, right, out of the hole, but you're still getting the bass, boom, boom, boom. But sometimes you can get out of these holes when you're close to them, definitely in cars, behind your seat. They do an air wave, right, that goes right through you, and it can feel like you can have a heart attack sometimes. And it's the same thing what this bass does itself when you're in front of the woofer, which is in here, as I've upgraded the woofer, right, on this one. See, it's bigger. That's the woofer from in here. Now it's at the front of this one. It's just a little woofer behind this. And this one used to be on a bit bigger speakers with three of these on each side and a tweeter. Right? And they used to be a bit more loud. Didn't need any big bass, but they're higher wattage. Right? So you can turn it up and you won't get too much woof with a nice loud speaker. But if you have this woof with these speakers, I noticed you can turn it up and really get bass before you get sound. Right? And so this one here's more the bass one. I'll set up one. And then this one here can be more the sound with a little bit of the bass. Right? And it actually goes better with that type of speakers. So I can turn up this one because this one likes to be turned up, and because this one's got the small bass, but they've got the higher sound as you turn it up. Sort of blends in as one speaker. So it's like a one speaker setup. 16 speakers all up in the end of this system. Just in these four speakers, but are technically working as one. They're actually the left and right name is what I've made them. And I'm going to make the rest and use the rest as I've got four other speakers that you get with a basic surround sound system, a cool one from back in that ALG. It was worth about nearly $1,000 when it came out with those four little tweeter skinny plastic speakers that I've shown you before. And so I had to modify it just a little bit. It just sticks out a little bit on here. But hey, you don't really see it. This hole, where is it? And they do sit in a little bit. So I get it on there we go. Where it holds enough, but it goes in halfway, sort of thing, because you've got a little gap here. That's all it end up doing on that. Could paint it, try to blend it in a little bit more. I may do that in the future, but I've got a lot of projects. And so when you have a lot of projects too, and you're one man, and you're trying to show a whole style of art in a way, and it's a way as well, and all these things, you might get a bit slow in certain areas. I could keep on working on this, but it's going to take even more time, touch up and that. But I've showed and talked, and I can come back to it later in other times when I'm a bit slower. So while I've got energy, I'm trying to bang out all these projects to get them started and get all the hard part done. So when I have low energy, I can just do the touch-ups. You see what I mean? It's a little bit of an art of making art with cystic fibrosis. As it's hard already to do things as a normal person can do. and you could just sit there and spend more time on it and have more people on it, or more materials. But I'm doing that slowly. So my art's not finished yet until I go, okay, now it's finished. There's nothing extra I can add to it. But a lot of my pieces right now are about midway. None of them are completely finished, really, except maybe some bits that I've made for the birds. But yet they can be still added on to, as I like to put art into some of the things that I care about and like to enjoy it a little bit myself at the same time if it's in my area, right? And so I might make things a bit more art looking and than just what it is, like a speaker, right? As I will have stories into this speaker, so it becomes an art speaker, you see. Now these back speakers, they could have been outdoor speakers. I was thinking about, I've got some steel that you put down in the back of trays and stuff. Steel I've already shown you at the back, big sheet of that. But cut that up. I was thinking of that, making some outdoor speakers and putting a cage over it. I've got some mesh and even some rocks, and so it'll only come through a little bit like an air vent, and put some light in it. Still up and on about putting light in those ones yet. I'm thinking I will, at least out of the holes, and start from there and see how it looks, and add some more light later. But it could also be another project later. Right? It's opened up for an upgrade. It's not a compact computer where you can barely do anything to it. It's a tower computer where you can upgrade things, right? That's what you want. That should be the future, where things can be upgraded more than just be, nah, it's done, it's only its job and then throw away, right? You should be able to be at least go to, if you're going to throw it away, can it work with other pieces and make pieces so they can, right? As I've done there, a small piece has been added to a piece, right? So nothing goes to waste when you upgrade yourself. And you can do it in your art too. You notice in some paintings they'll talk about that there's a painting over a painting, right? Because the painter did the exact same thing. He goes, oh, I'll change the story, and that story's done and dusted, and it's had its time and it had its look. Or it can mean a whole nother story of why it's even been covered and a mystery for other people to look at later. Or I can tell you about it, or I'll leave it. Right? That's part of art too, is to make to be understood, but also still be a mystery, to want to be always constantly looked at and see if you can see it in a different way. I believe the Bible is an art form of education, art in education, right? Which is use certain words, do certain ways, say certain things to mean a lot of things to a lot of people. And that's the connection of art as well, besides your own self-art, because there's different forms of art too. And so these are going to be bird. I'm thinking I'm going to go bird. I'm going to have a look. But that's what I'm thinking, because I need to watch movies properly with the proper surround sound. I might as well have still the effect here. But the old speakers weren't really able to see except one speaker. They couldn't really work properly here, the tall plastic ones I had. And they're a bit big, and I can rotate them and put them upside down. I thought about doing that on the roof and hang them down here, but they're also a little bit big. They're, about that long or so, 3 times as length as this easy. So I thought I'll make it short, a little bit fatter. These will be a little bit fatter, maybe nearly twice as fat as the other one, but they're going to be shorter. Not even twice, maybe 1.5, right? But a lot shorter speakers. And then at the back, they're going to be a bit more wide. The other ones are only about that wide max in the end. And this one here, I can go just a little bit more wider in spots, as I'm going to make a little play area, so the guys can come and play the birds. If they can get to the front, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of mesh, so if they get to the front, they can climb on the mesh, but the mesh will be up high enough, up and around, where they'll be able to bite the chicken wire mesh, but won't be able to get to the speaker. And be able to be a speaker. And I might even put a couple of rock fancy design on it. Right, and you can go normal design, which in a way could be a slight art, which is people just using their imagination. Design is a sort of form of art. Or you add really cool design, looks good, a story and a mystery, which is more into the art form, right? And so that's what I'm thinking I'm going to do in the next couple of days. And then I'll move on to another piece and get back to another piece. Hopefully I don't get too behind. Sometimes things don't work out, and so I leave it because I go, shit, there's other things I've got to get back to. Otherwise I'll be too stuck on this one. And so I'll leave it and I'll get back to it when I can, energy-wise, material-wise, or time-wise. Right? So have a good one, and see you later.